All right, cool. Liam, I'm just gonna mute you because it's making noise. All right. So yeah, I think people will jump in probably an hour, but this works out better for me. Next week I'll plan it to be a little bit better. Um, so yeah, I sent an email out to everybody about kind of like limiting beliefs of what everybody is kind of struggling with. And so maybe we'll go around and just go through kind of these limiting beliefs. And then I want to, however the conversation goes, is get you guys on the right track to start selling this and then think even bigger. And I have two books that I really suggest everybody read. Like these books, I have my own limiting beliefs, like that I wasn't good enough at this. I have all this experience in sales and I couldn't sell this. And Brandon, when we went out to Los Angeles together, um, same with Indy. When we went out to Los Angeles, I read this book, and I'll tell you what it is here in a little bit. On the way to LA, and it just changed my whole mindset of all of this. I've actually even told Adam and Brendan about it because it it changes the game, it changes your mental mindset. And I've also had a bunch of people coming and text me inside Facebook or send me emails. And then when I have little meetings with them, they'll watch my YouTube videos. I'll send some of them, and they're like, "Dude, this works. I got a meeting set up," or something like that. And so I don't know. Maybe if you want, raise your hand, and we'll go around the horn and just kind of see what are you guys kind of struggling with. Like, what are your thoughts? Why do you think that you're not getting maybe meetings set up or things like that. But yeah, Brandon, go ahead, bro.
So I know you and I've had quite lengthy chats over the last, I don't know, 6 weeks, call it, about
Hmm.
approaching this. And I'm currently, I'm just like waiting for that cold email system to warm up because I want that to be like the primary outreach tool that I use to try and land meetings. But at the same time, I've noticed in like networking and just having conversations with business owners that I know in my own immediate network, I'm kind of shifting it from hoping that I can land, the project scope build to just gaining some insight into just having conversations in general without anticipating and hoping, that maybe it'll go to the next step. Might in some cases, but I've had no like success in doing that. But I'm also not like pushing for it. It's just, open-ended questions back and forth. So, since you and I last talked, it's like, okay, well, yes, the cold email, that's one aspect, but how can I proactively be going out and prospecting effectively in other areas? Because you've told me, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. You've got everything you need. And I'm like, hey, you're right. And I want to do that. I just don't always know where to start. So then I find myself focusing on things that I know how to do that I will need to do eventually. And maybe they're not benefiting me now, but the content stuff, uh, you know, all that sort of stuff. I find myself feeling productive because I want to have an online presence and show and social proof. So
This
that's
this
part of
is
it.
okay. So let's I, I'm I'm gonna I'm gonna help you get planned out and sorted because some of the stuff let me just open this. All right. Does anybody else want to tell me like kind of what's holding you back or what your limiting beliefs are? Because I'm gonna do an activity with you guys and get this sorted.
Probably lead, just like what Brandon was saying.
Okay, so all right, so is there like what kind of things are you doing to get leads and what is the stuff that's holding you back?
I'm still waiting on lead Gen J. Um, And I guess the biggest thing is just the opening conversation. That's my biggest thing.
All right. So I'm gonna write this down. So lead gen J, cold emails, and then the lead conversation. All
Yeah.
right. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, for me, I think yeah, the biggest one is really is to just trying to understand even more about the go high level as well as getting on my basics sales 101. So I've been watching your courses and I still have not really figured out what is the most efficient way or effective way for me to kind of get started, whether I really need to go through all the content in the course in order, or whether I can just at least do like a quick jump start and to kind of like go through maybe each of the video of each sections so that I can just kind of get started without being perfect. Um, Also, the other thing too is that I think given that like the approach that you mentioned, you can now use the like the cold email, the cold DM approach. And the part that I wasn't 100% clear now is that whether I still need to do like cold calling anymore. So that's my question. That's just all the things that's going on in my head.
So so you're kind of stuck in a little bit in between the building phases as well as the getting clients phase. So you that's basically two things, right? So two of those things are holding you back is like, how can I sell this if I don't necessarily know exactly how to do everything inside Go High Level? So you have a learning curve for the actual building part, and then a learning curve for actually getting the clients. Is that right?
Yes, yes, Nick. So yeah, you're right. So the two tracks, yeah. One track is the customer acquisition about the sales skills or the like to kind of how you get the prospects and how
Yeah.
like I think I was suggested like before you introduce the course that people do cold calling and all that, right? But I mean it seems that I think your approach that the angle is a little bit different, can kind of go on to like open job marketplaces as well as to do all those automation outreach, right? So that's kind of the thing that I was not 100% clear on whether I can really happily skip the cold calling because I really don't enjoy that part. And yeah, I think the second part also, when I spoke with one of my friends, yeah, he mentioned that maybe one way for me to be more comfortable when I communicate or to talk to prospect is that really for me to I know that Brandon said that like you don't need to know all the nitty-gritty details of like all the technologies inside and so on, right? But I think my friend he did mention a very good point that like unless if you kind of get hands-on with the CRM, it's going to be difficult for you, or I mean like for me to kind of like to have that concurrency and confidence to explain to the other person. And I can see that when I was watching the video from Munich, when you were talking to prospect, how you were kind of was able to get into some of the specific details when you talk about maybe like Instagram or like email integrations or what kind of the ways you can help people to get the leads, because you were able to discuss some of the details, right? So that's why I'm thinking maybe I really also need to maybe spend like a good amount of time just really kind of get really hands-on, not to build out the project, but just at least like really know the details so that when I talk to a prospect, I can tell, oh yes, we can do this for you, we can do that for you. And that's kind of my takeaway. Not just only on sale, but also be more familiar with the tools.
All right. I'm gonna bring something up here. I'm gonna share my screen. Thanks. All right. Yeah, Bernard, tell me what's up.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Um, well, I don't know if you remember, we were messaging on Facebook
Yep.
Messenger last week, and I told you like I'm just in my head the whole time, and I guess because I'm a little older than a lot of people, I guess, in this new business, and I'm very, very new, and I'm still kind of struggling and overwhelmed. Uh, I feel, like I said before, like I feel imposter syndrome and analysis paralysis and all those negative stuff in my head. And I just really want to just get it up and running and just get out of my day job basically because I've been in this field for a very long time and it's just I'm just I just feel like I'm in the hamster wheel, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and then it starts having like, okay, I can do this, I can do this. It's going to be most likely easy or simple or things like that. But then I get in my head, it's like I start watching YouTube, I start reading on a high level Facebook page, and I go through the 3 day training, and I'm like, oh my God, this is hard. You know, it's like a lot of stuff, you know. That's pretty much it. I think it's just my mindset. And when I got the email for today, I'm like, oh, I need to get in that, you know. But at the same time, it's like I know I can do it. It's just I just like Andy was saying, it's like I'm more of a learner or technical kind of guy. I feel like I need to learn everything before I can sell it or talk about it. And like Teresa was saying, like, okay, well, how do I do the cold email or meeting people and introduce myself, or how do I start up that conversation before I can ask consultatively questions? Because in my field right now at my day job, I've been in automotive business. You know, I was a technician and now I write service, and basically that's what I do. Like it's easier for me, I guess, because the customers with cars at the dealership, they bring the car in, right? Because
Yeah.
they have the issues, the problems of their cars. So right off the bat, hey, how's it going? I'm Bernard. What can I help you today? You know, and then they start telling me, oh, okay, so your check engine light is on, blah blah blah. What kind of issues are you having? You know, then I become the doctor, the I consult, and then I say, and then I'll say, okay, great. I'll have my technician look at it, you know, because I have confidence because I've been in it for years, right? And I'm trying to figure out how I can just at least the start of the conversation because my wife, she's in a local BNI and she knows people in the business, and I'm like, you know, okay, well, they know me that I don't have a business, but I want to start up a business and I want to at least maybe introduce, like, how do I approach them with, you know, at least I was thinking like maybe you could do the Google reviews or missed call text back, or now they have an AI voice or things like that. I feel like I need to start smaller and then hit them up in the back end later. I know your program or the way that you're teaching is you do the big stuff first and then the back end will be the monthly thing. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
I'm
does. It does.
mumbling. I'm mumbling here. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna run and get these two books because I'm gonna show you something. Give me 2 seconds. right. So these two books, this one is called 10x is easier than 2x. I I think that this book, if even if you don't like to read, download the what's it called? The audio book. I read this
Yeah.
book twice already, and probably I'm actually on my third time reading this book. Um, it's and I'll kind of give you the the like, is it called synopsis?
Synopsis.
Yeah. And so this book does exactly what you just said, is you kind of feel stuck, like almost like analysis paralysis. You're in your head, uh, and you're watching these YouTube videos and you're thinking like, why is everybody else over there doing this and I just can't figure it out. I did that for a year inside this Go High Level stuff. I mean, I've been on calls with Adam and Brendan in the Go High Level Mastery group with a lot of people that are in here. And I literally just I couldn't figure it out. I could not figure out, why can't I have this conversation? Why does nobody want to buy anything from me? Like like that everybody needs this. Every single client or company needs this, whether it's the reviews, whether it's the missed call text back, whether it's the AI, all this stuff. And I'm like, this is going to make them more money than what they're currently doing. But how do I start that conversation? How do I do that? And so this book, basically, I was stuck in a 2x like situation. I was trying to do exactly what you said, like maybe just start out small and then build up and go there. And at that point, really, it's like you're dealing with shitty clients. I mean, I'll just say it straight out. Like, it's shitty clients that you're dealing with when you have a 2x mindset. But you don't know what you don't know, right? After reading this book, I was like, oh my God, yeah, why don't I just focus on that? 10x is easier than 2x. And the reason why is because people that want to fix problems and be in a productive solution state in their business, they don't care how much it costs. You're not trying to convince them, because they're already convinced that, yeah, I have a problem and I don't know, I need someone to do this for me, and I don't care how much it costs. I'll take, I'll pay whatever it is. And so then the other book, and I'll get into that because I'm going to do an activity with you that my mentor does with me. The next one is just called Ready, Fire, Aim. This is 0 to 100 million in no time flat. Now, I have only read 105 pages, and this is my best golf score. I shot a 69 on the golf course. I don't know if you guys pay attention to golf, but 69 is
Nice.
really good for me. Well, it's good for anybody. But I've only read 105 pages, and no, it was 18 holes, Liam. Um, a and so this book right here, this is I only read 105 pages. This is what was responsible for me for doing 63,500 in 6 weeks. And I didn't even make it past 110 pages. And putting these books together, it gives you a really good framework. Now, I read a lot of books. Like, I try to. I have tons of books, and I read them, and then sometimes I forget them, or like, yeah, I read that book. Like 4 Hour Work Week. It's a great book. The title says it all. I don't remember everything. I remember delegating things to a VA, doing things in batches, things like that. But like these two books, these are like the game, like these are the blueprints to the game. And so this really, the title says 0 to 100 million in no time flat. I did 0 to $64,000 in 6 weeks just by implementing both of these books. And I didn't even finish reading this book, because now I'm at this point, like, if I read any more, man, I'm gonna have to do more. Not do more, but like, I'm not ready for that just yet. Like, let me get on this roll. And so these books pretty much hit on, these questions and these concerns that you guys all have, like the lead gen J cold emails. I challenge Brendan and Teresa, like, why are you guys sitting around waiting for that to be finished? You guys should be working on other things while that's warming up, right? The lead conversation. Go get the course that I have for the sales. I mean, I literally in my sales course, it goes through the 10-minute conversation and I keep uploading them between Wednesday and today. I've had 3 conversations. Each one of them has paid me $250. So what's 250? I made $750 from just having the conversation and then sending my project the project proposal, the paperwork off to Adam and Brendan. And I had one more client, but it was from someone that was in the partner program with us. Chris Sounders. He sent over somebody, I helped him, and I didn't make the 250. I don't even know if he charged the 250 to her. So we have 4 clients just from Wednesday of last week. And it's a matter of just shifting your mind. Now, during the time that I had this whole squatter situation and this whole problem up in New York with people living in my house for free for 2 years and my basically losing everything, I was in analysis paralysis. I was hard on myself. Like I knew I had to snap out of it, and these 2 books really, really helped me. I lost everything, and not only that, but like I'm in these calls with Adam and Brendan every day. I'm trying to figure this shit out, and it's just not working. And so I had to sit back and have a conversation with myself, like, stop watching every Alex Hermosi video. Stop watching these, 22-year-olds that are claiming they're making $40,000 a month if I just do this one simple step, right? I had to understand that the content creators on YouTube that have 100,000 followers and they're paying, they're charging people to be in their Telegram group or inside their Discord chat, and they're putting everybody in there. They might, and maybe they are, I don't know, but their stuff is all about content. So they're creating tabloid thumbnails to get you in there and then have this stuff, but they're not really pulling the curtain back. I mean, some of the guys, they sit there, they're like, yeah, here, I'm gonna call some people real quick and you can listen to me and you can mimic this. Hey, I'm here to sell you something. They probably called 500 people and only recorded the best ones, right? And they don't show what's happening in the background. And so I had to get away from, all right, let me focus on what everybody else is doing. And the way that I found out about charging $150 or $250 for the project scope document was I created an Upwork profile, like I talk about in the prospecting course. I created an Upwork profile, and then I knew that I needed to have reviews, so I just started charging for the consultation. It was a mistake. I never came up with that, like sat down and wrote it out. What I did was I ready, fired, and now I'm aiming, right? So it's like what you said, Bernard, is like you're afraid to do this. You think that you have to have everything organized. No, just go and do it. Fire first and then go back and adjust. And that's what this book says. And so when I started getting these clients, I just made an Upwork profile. I was like, where are all these people sitting? Where can I get people that are going to pay me? And then I made the profile. And then I was like, oh, the algorithm needs what's it called? Needs reviews. I need something that I can like sell. Like maybe I should just charge for a consultation. So then I started charging for a consultation. It took me a little while. Like I started Upwork in April, right? This didn't really come to play until like August after I started reading this, and I went with Adam and Brendan with everybody up to LA. And so, um, it really is a matter of getting out of your mind and getting those limiting beliefs from underneath you and 10xing, right? So one of my 10x's, I mean, one of my clients, he's now my partner. I got on a meeting with him for 15 minutes, told him what I do in AI, and he was like, "All right, dude, how much does it cost? I'll send you the money right now." And I was like, "It's 2,500 bucks and it's $800 a month." And he's like, "All right, just send me the invoice and let's go." And I was at a friend of mine's office with his employees. They let me work there for the day. And I did the call in public in front of everybody because the guy just was like, "Hey, do you have time to get on a call right now?" I didn't go to an office where it was quiet, so everybody around me was hearing me. And when I hung up the phone and turned the Zoom off, I didn't know any of his employees, and they all just looked at me and they were like, "Dude, you just made 2,500 bucks and $800 a month in like 15 minutes." And I was like, "Yeah." And they were joking, like, you should do sales with us. Like that was pretty cool." And my buddy's like, "Bro, you should have went in the other room." I'm like, "Well, I didn't know. That was just a random call." And so I thought about it, I'm like, and I told them in the office, I'm like, it's this book. It's 10x is easier than 2x. The guy's industry, he's raising money for different companies, and he needs somebody to help them with raising the capital. And so that's where the money's at, right? That's 10x. That's not like a one-off roofing company that has a one truck. This is a guy that has millions and millions of dollars coming in. And then I thought about it like, damn, I should have charged him 10 grand to do that and maybe like $2,000 a month, right? And so that was my limiting belief in that section, right? In that spot is now when I'm dealing with people with a lot of money, it's where do I find the appropriate amount to charge them to do that, right? I think I undersold myself there, although it landed in a partnership and now we're doing cool things. But so um like it's just a matter of really suppressing those thoughts. Like I hope that anybody watching this video today is gonna suppress those annoying, stupid, I'm gonna call them stupid. They're ridiculous thoughts of how do I approach them? I'm not good enough. I need to learn every single thing. And why is no one buying this? Maybe because I just don't know how to do it and I need more education. I have put together the two courses that I've documented for the past year of exactly what you need to do. And today I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to go through something that my mentor showed me. It's called Lean Canvas. And it's an activity that we can all do together. And it will help you get organized in a way that you can follow what is known as the Eisenhower matrix, where you have important urgent tasks, you have important not urgent, you have not important, and then you can delegate, and then you can just delete, right? And so like what Brandon said, "Oh, I'm just sitting around waiting for my not that you're just sitting around doing nothing, bro. I know you're doing stuff, but like I'm waiting for that to get started, right? So it's like, okay, you did that for, it's really like anywhere between 14 and 28 days. Well, for that 14 and 28 days, now we need to send out those emails. You need to get case studies. You need to get stuff organized to where you're going to drive those emails to go to. It's not like you just send out these cold emails and people are going to start booking calls, right? So we need to figure that out, and I'm going to help you with that today. Yeah, Teresa, what's up?
So I think, I built a few things. I don't like the building part, but I think the thing with me, like the first client I got, I just thought Go High Level can do everything. And it can. I mean, through APIs and through Pabbly or whatever. But I set up the core four, which just raised more questions for me. So that's the big thing. I'm like, what all can AI do? I don't know. I'd like to know what the host system can do, but I think I get so caught up in that. Like with my client that I did, he said, can it connect to QuickBooks? I did a quick Google search. Yep, we can connect to QuickBooks. And then I talked to Adam, and Adam's like, yeah, it can, but I don't recommend it. So I had to go back and recant. We can connect, but it's going to pull everybody in from your QuickBooks into your CRM. And he's like, oh, I don't want that. And then, so there was all these things, and I was like, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. And then I had to go back and recant. So, like when you're talking to the guy there that you were just mentioning about AI, and you're saying, that's the thing. If I was talking to him, I'd be saying, well, I think it can do that. Or, yeah, probably we could do that. So, how do you get over that? Which, by the way, I started reading 10X last night,
Thanks.
and I read the story about Michelangelo, and I was like, oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
2Xing it, I was
Yeah.
like, that's amazing. So I'm already like, yeah, I want to read this whole book real quick. But that I think in itself for me is like, if I just knew what all it could do. So if a company comes up, because I'm in some groups like for heating and air conditioning on Facebook. I know I could help them with missed back text back calls. That's one thing. What else could I help them with? Or do I even just need to just listen to them and see what their problems are without me wondering what else can I help them with?
Yeah. So there's a couple things that we need to do in order to get to that spot and to understand, right? And so one of the things is these business owners, they have been doing their business for a long time, right? And so they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And when you have these conversations, they think in a 2x mindset, and they are thinking like, well, we're doing it this way. We are doing it this way. But you have to understand that when you go into every single meeting, that you are the professional. And if you don't know, it's okay. That in sales, in the consultative sales approach, is it goes miles and speaks volumes about you as a consultant when you actually tell the potential buyer, you know what, I don't know the answer to that, but I will find out and I will get back to you. It brings you back down to being human and not this like guy just trying to sell them something. And it builds trust. So like my boss used to tell me like, Nick, this is going to take 2 years for you to learn this. I was selling cervical cancer equipment. I mean, there was science behind it. There were medical trials. There were all kinds of things that there were just information. It was information overload. And we would go on our ride-alongs together, and he would be like, he would be standing there, and I would use him as a crutch of like, can you help me out? And he would actually tell the doctor, look, I know the answer to this, but he's new, and I'm trying to teach him. If he doesn't know, he can get back to you, and me and him can go back to the car, and then we can send you an email or send you a text. And I was like, bro, why don't you just tell the doctor right now? You already know the information. But he was forcing me to learn how to say, listen, you know, if you don't know the answer to that, tell them because they will respect you. Every single other sales rep in here is just bullshitting them, trying to get the sale or get them to sign the paperwork. And the doctor sees that, and then he's going to associate you with the rest of everybody else.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. So when I started telling the doctors, hey, look, I don't know that. What it did, it actually forced me to go back to my boss, ask him, and then now I had that in my arsenal of information for the next doctor to do. So it was like step by step by step, little by little, I was learning what our product could do, what it could, save. Like we could reduce, you know, we could it was cervical cancer stuff. So we could reduce false positives by 34%. And then the doctor would say, well, how do you do that? And I'd be like, I don't know. I know that it's in the clinical trial. Let me find out. And then I go back, and then they would be like, well, the false positives are reduced because it's a messenger RNA test. Okay, what does that mean? Because then the doctors would sometimes like they would challenge me, like, what do you know about mRNA or DNA? And then I would be like, well, actually, it hones in on the T56 cell inside the mRNA where the proteins are needed to advance into cervical cancer over a period of time. And then they would be like, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. So I'm like, yeah, so the machine looks at the marker and does that. But I didn't know what any of that meant. It would be like one doctor would ask me that. I'd go ask my boss. Another doctor would ask me that. And then my boss would slowly educate me on this. And he would be like, look, read this clinical trial here and you'll understand this. And now you can incorporate that into your conversation. And so it's the same thing when we're selling Go High Level stuff is when we sell Go High Level stuff is the company is going to come to you. You know what we can do because Go High Level is like way fucking complicated. Like it has every single thing, but what they think that they need is not what they need because they're stuck at like I think we need to do this. They don't know about improving it, and at the same time of improving it, it scares them. It's like, no, I don't want to use AI because I don't want to lose the personal touch. My clients come to me because they want to speak with me. We've been in the business for 40 years. I took it from my dad. We've that's what we've built our entire thing on. And so when you start throwing out words there like AI or we can throw AI into it, it's like, no, let's back up and figure out the problems. And so that's why I have these project scope calls because and I ask the open-ended question, what would it look like if you had a magic wand and in the next 72 hours, X would be fixed? And now you're not talking about AI. You're not talking about, you know, fixing their problems. You're letting them tell you what their problems are. And then you be a chameleon and you adjust to that. So you're not going in with, I'm going to sell them missed call text back. They don't see a problem with that because they have someone that answers the phone. They probably are paying for a answering service, right? And they're probably doing all these different things to where they're you're trying to sell them because that's what you know Go High Level can do. And so when you go in with that mindset or that approach, you're going to get pushback and then it naturally forces you to become a salesman because you're like, almost like combative. I've done it. Like, okay, so if you're telling me that you're missing these calls, like, how are you going to fix that? And then they just put their guard up. Look, I'm done. Like, this just isn't for me, blah, blah, blah. And your close rate, your then what happens mentally and internally is like, I suck at this. I'm not doing this. Maybe I just need to lower my price, right? And now it's an entire cycle, and that's what causes your beliefs to be these bad beliefs because you're not structuring the conversation properly and you're not providing a solution to their problems. You're focused over here on, I know what Go High Level is. I mean, someone said like, I need to get the technicals down first, right? I think Indy was like, I want to understand the technicals first. It's okay to go and tell these people, I think that will work. Let me speak with my team because they're the ones that will put this together. But what I suggest that we do is we build out a project scope and we organize everything from your head, put it on paper, and that way I can go back. So if we want to go, like you're telling me, from point A to point Z, you and me, Mr. Client, we don't need to get lost in between of how this shit is going to work out. We just need to get from point A to point Z. That's from the time you have a lead to the time that you get paid, and leave it up to me and my team to figure out all of this for you. And then right there, they're like, how would you do that? Right now, they're asking you the questions. And it's like, well, let's go through this document, right? And so the other day I was in a call with this guy. He's like, dude, I love the way that you operate. I don't, because I've been thinking about this, but I've never actually done what you're doing. I know that I need to, and I don't know how we're going to get to it. So it's kind of like now it becomes like a partnership. Me and him are working on his business together. I don't know exactly how it's going to go, but that's not my job. That's Adam and Brendan's job to figure out, okay, you just want them to, from there, they fill out a Facebook ad, and then you want to get them on a meeting. What happens after they get on the meeting? I don't even care what he does on the meeting, right? I know that he wants to sell them something. And then you go through, and now he's like, oh wow, you can make, and then you upsell him. Oh wow, you can make, you can make you can make websites. You guys know how to do that? Yeah. And then I just upsold him. Now he needs a website. Now he needs a landing page, but he doesn't feel like I'm selling him the website because it's naturally coming out, right? So I want to switch this into this activity. And we have a couple of things because some people either want to build, and I totally get that. And some people either want to scale this and sell it and not build, because when you have your sales process, right? So when I was doing this in the beginning without Adam and Brendan, just doing it myself, I didn't have the processes in place. So I would take on a client, and then now I'm like overwhelmed, and I'm overwhelmed to just be paid, a $2,500 setup plus $600 a month, right? Or I got a project that was $11,000, the first one that I did with Adam and Brendan. If I were to work on that $11,000 project, there is absolutely, absolutely no way that I would be able to continue selling while making money on this side and building, because now I'm trading my time for my money. And so when we go into this, you have to think of what kind of agency or person do you want to be, right? And so we got to think like, am I one, a builder, or two, am I like a sales slash scaling company, right? It doesn't matter what we're selling, right? So we're selling, AI agency, go high level, whatever, right? And so if you really hone in on which one you are, then you kind of have a direction to go, right? So if you want to be it, if you want to be a builder, then you just need steady clients, right? And you basically become a, let's say, like a fractional, slash consultant. And what does your day to day look like? Day to day looks like you're probably, you know, on team calls with the client, right? They're probably hiring you to be, almost like a part of their team. They're hiring you like you're the consultant, you're the guy that they go to, and like you're there to figure it out, but you're collaborating with the people inside their team. Now, you might not think like that, but that's you 10xing yourself, because you could have 10 of these clients, right? And you just go and you are incorporated into their company, right? Whereas before this conversation, you might think like, oh yeah, I could do that, and then I can also sell. So you need to separate yourself. You need to separate, are you a builder, or are you a sales scaling company trying to get as many sales as possible, right? And so for this one, the builder, a day-to-day looks like you're on team calls with clients, you're collaborating closely with their team, right? You probably you're almost like an employee, right? Almost like an employee with them. And then after your meetings, you're going out, you're building, right? And so this, like what Andy said, is you want to get the technicals down first, right? So where do you learn those technicals, right? Is where do you learn these technicals, right? I mean, where I learned it is Go High Level Mastery VIP with Adam and Brendan, right? I mean, this is where most of you guys are in this group. And these are now you are being paid to be on the calls in that group. So you're like a fractional arm of their team, and they're basically paying you to be in our daily 2-hour Zoom calls, right? So you are getting paid to be in the Zoom calls with Adam and Brendan. So now you've just switched it around, right? You just, wow, now this is no longer an expense. This is needed. This is an asset for me to be the builder, right? And so most people, when I speak to them or whatever, yeah, the Go High Level Mastery is $497 a month. I can't afford that. Okay, great. You can't afford that right now. With that mindset, you're not going to be able to do that. So you need to go and find a client that's going to pay you to be in those calls, right? And so you work backwards, and we'll get back to that in a second. I'll put that up here. So work backwards. It's not how you spell backwards. Backwards. Work backwards. We'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so this is kind of like the gist of this. And again, this is what I know. This is what has worked for me. Without Adam and Brendan, you will feel completely lost. Now, if you're with Adam and Brendan right now, you're missing these parts. You're missing these. And I'm gonna go through something what's called a lean canvas today, which my mentor, I'm going to have him on these calls with us. Actually, I'm going to tell him he's got to come, and he's going to help get some stuff out of your head, but I can show you today. So then we have number 2. If you want to be a sales company, scale, get a bunch of clients, right? You need machines working to land meetings, right? So what's needed? We have 1, we need sales skills. 2, we need presentation skills. And this includes, example project scope documents, right? So you know what you're talking about. You need a team to fulfill. And I'm talking like selling at least one high ticket build every single week. Like this week, I sold a $9,000 build. I'm waiting for them to sign the paperwork, but verbally they were like, yeah, we want to do this. Let's go. And, and then I had 3 more calls. So I always have something in the pipeline, right? So you need like the machine is, a pipeline, machine to feed you meetings, right? You need a process for the sales calls, like a need / want for them to actually meet with you, right? And then get paid up front for your time. Now, this is where I focus, right? This is where I have really been focusing, and this is what the courses are that I've created. It's really just a journey of me going through and fucking up a bunch of times and then putting it all together and going through and looking at the data and seeing what works and what doesn't. All right, I'll take a second. Brandon, you have a question?
I do. It doesn't particularly pertain to this. I can
Okay,
wait.
yeah, I don't want to lose my train of thought. So now we have two things, right? And so you, as the agency owner, as the person watching this, you need to figure out which one are you? Because I think a lot of people mix this here of they want to sell and they want to build. And it causes friction and it pushes you back because it's overwhelming. It's everything that you guys said. It's, overwhelming. You want to get the technicals down first, but you know that you have to sell. You're new, you're struggling, you're overwhelmed, right? You feel this imposter syndrome because it's like, wow, I have so many things coming on. Like, I need to do this. I need to build the landing page. I need to set up my calendar. I need to get the text automations out. I need to, I need that document that Nick has, and I don't have that just yet. So I'm not going to be able to sell it because that's how he does it. And I need this, I need that, I need this. I don't know how to approach these people because, well, when I don't know how to build it. So if they need missed call text back, I need to explain to them, well, in this workflow, they're going to get a phone number. Oh, we got to get A2P compliant. We got to do this, right? It's just like a shit ton of stuff. And so you got to figure out, do you want to be someone that's a builder, right? And this is like integrated into their team. Basically, where these people are telling you what to do, and you're the one that's just going out and figuring out how to do it, right? Or do you want to be the sales scaling company consultant that tells them what to do, right? And this is much different than this. Now, I will say I've tried this. For me, I had a very bad experience where you have to learn to like be open to taking even though when you, because it's their business, right? So it's their baby. When you start telling them, no, don't do it this way, we should do it this way, you get pushback and it creates a lot of friction. But you can listen to them like, what do you need built? And you basically just keep your mouth shut. Like you just like, all right, yeah, I can do that. If that's the way you want it, that's cool. Even though we know that that's probably not the best approach, over time, as you learn with Adam and Brendan, if you're in the group, like you have to be able to keep your mouth shut here, because it can lead into different things. Like actually, I had a lady that she didn't listen to anything that we said, and it was just a waste of my time, but she never paid me $5,000, and that would piss me off. And so that was a bad falling out. And so these are where you got to start, right? Um, and now this moves me into kind of like this Eisenhower matrix. And before we get to that, I want to show you how you can kind of get this organized. So let me think of where we're at. So how many of you would want to be a builder, and how many of you I guess raise your hand if you feel more aligned with like the builder. You're integrated into their team. You're like a fraction of their team, or yeah, let's start with that. Like raise your hand, or I don't know, put a 1 in the chat. If you feel like you're more of a builder. I don't know where the chat is. Here it is, chat. See, now we have people in the waiting room. And where are the people in the waiting room? How
It's
do
under more. No, no, it's right next to participants.
here it is. Oh, it says it's note takers. All right, so all right, nobody wants to be a builder. You guys want to be the sales and scaling company. There's 10 people on YouTube, and I don't know if I can't see the chats, but whatever. All right. So I assume that everybody wants to be the sales scaling company consultant. Is that correct?
Nick, can I ask you about this? So I remember last time in the LE event, there was a gentleman mentioned that like a builder is more or less just like a commodity because the most important part is the sales, right? Because I think that gentleman said like once you kind of get the sales, then you can then have a very large choice of vendors who can help to fulfill that order of the delivery of the technology implementation. So my background, I was familiar with building the test automations before for the automotive, which I think is somehow similar to the CRM workflow automations. But yeah, that was the thing though, like because I know that technically I think I would be easy for me to pivot into technical. However, I feel that the upside of being like a technical person is not going to do much. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah. So let me understand the question. Do you think that you need to get wrapped up in the technicals to be successful? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I want to be able to meet my, my financial goals, my income goals, right? Because I think what I'm more passionate in potentially is more on the technical side, but I'm also like curious and open in learning or getting out of my comfort zone to become like a better salesperson. But just based on what I observe, maybe based on my surroundings, I feel that if I get good in technical implementations at the end of the day, I'm still going to be an implementer, and therefore I'm not going to get as much financial upsides comparing to the person who is able to close the deal. So that's why I'm thinking if I have to get into this space brand new, I may as well to get into the sales role, even though I know it's not going to be easy for me, but sometimes easy doesn't mean always the best choice, right? So that's the kind of thing that
Yeah, I
I
think that's where everybody's at in this journey. Like everybody on this call, including myself, is like, ha I mean, you have to ask yourself, Indy, is like, what am I doing this for? Am I doing this to learn and figure this out, or am I doing this to make money, support my family, leave my job, and provide solutions to people, and then grow even larger, where I'm getting referrals, right? And I think it's the second one. If it wasn't, then I would say, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, work at your day job and mess around and keep watching YouTube videos and try to learn it. But there is a skill set that has to come with this, and it is sales. And everybody talks about sales as like selling something and getting paid. Sales is really just having a normal conversation. Sales is just having a normal conversation and moving them progressively to where you want them to get. So you can break up the sales process in the first part of the sale is just to get them on a 5 minute to 10 minute meeting. That's it. And that 5 to 10 minute meeting is nothing about talking about go high level or what you can do for them. It's figuring out their problems to get them on the next meeting where they're going to pay you $150, right? And so you have to learn that most people go into sales of like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna sell this for $5,000. No, you got to section it out and you have to break it up and you have to get them to trust you. You have to get them to want to buy from you, not be sold to. And there is a learning curve with that, right? And so in order to do that, this is what I'm going to go through is we have to figure out how to structure that. How do you structure what you want to do in a structured way to getting it to a point where you feel comfortable and your self-confidence is beating down all this bullshit, right? Like, oh, I'm just waiting for the lead gen J cold emails to be set up. Well, what are you going to do when that happens, right? This is a sales process. This is not you just set up your emails and you land in the inbox, and then all of a sudden you're going to get people to start getting on meetings. This is a structured sales process. This is a long-term goal. This isn't like you're going to see results, in a day. And I'm going to go through how to get this structured, right? So for everybody that came in, my bad. I didn't know the United States changed the clocks back. We're like Arizona here in this state in Mexico. The rest of Mexico changes their clocks back. So people were on here, and this is streamed on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it. But basically, we're trying to work backwards. So you're either a builder where you're integrated into their team, or you're a sales scaling consultant and you're telling them what to do, right? And so basically everybody kind of picked this one. And if you want to be this sales company, this is who I am in this whole thing. You need machines working to land meetings, right? You need sales skills, like I told Andy. You need presentation skills, and this includes example project scope documents. You don't have to have a sales pitch or a presentation that's like, this is what we do. I don't do that. I haven't done that. I think that's too salesy. You need to adjust to the client's needs, wants, problems, and provide them a solution. If you watch the video that I posted on YouTube the other day, it's talking about like the square peg and the circle hole, or the star. You have to become the shape that they are, and you do that, through the sales stuff. I'm not going to go through all that because that I have that in the sales course. Like, you can just watch all of my sales calls. If you want to scale this is something that I learned. You need a team to fulfill, and that is Adam and Brendan. And a lot of people here have that, right? So there's something that my mentor taught me, and it's called a lean canvas. And this right here gets everything out on paper. Sign up for this, but no button to do this. Okay, this right here goes through and it gets everything organized on what you want to do. You can type it in. It's a famous thing. I don't know who it's created by, but it's called Lean Canvas. And let's take somebody's business right now, and let's make a lean canvas for your business. And this is going to help structure you, because each one of these boxes, look, let me show you what mine looks like. So this is what I did with my real estate business with my partner. We did this last year, August 17th of 2023. So we have a problem, right? The problem is a status problem for people that wanted to buy property here in Mexico. Owning in Tulum is fancy. They want to buy in Mexico, but scared on who to trust. They're not sure how taxes work. They might need financing. They don't know how to identify the right property, not knowing how the property will be managed. So my point is you can pick the problem, right? Concerned with, like, let's take this, wants to buy in Mexico, but scared on who to trust. What is the solution? You should be able to pick any of these solutions, right? Well, who to trust. So services, we sell your house, well, property management after the investment, lead for sales on great real estate. So you can say, okay, the problem for somebody is they want to buy in Mexico, but they're scared on who to trust. What's the solution? We have an investor masterclass on site, so they can build trust there. We have a master broker we are a master broker selling master development listings, right? What's our unique value proposition? Well, we're consultative, not salesy. We have a network and connections in the region. We have proprietary connections that give us the fast path to permits and legal networks, right? What's our unfair advantage? Our experience and skin in the game, like me and Alberto actually own property. So how many real estate agents here in Mexico actually, talk the talk and walk the walk? Like Do they actually own their own property, right? Their customer segments, right? So they live in North America. What are their alternatives? They could do nothing. They could buy somewhere else, like in Florida. They could put money in the market. They could buy crypto, right? So this whole thing, you can mix and match all of this, and this would help you create your lead magnets. This would help you create your emails, right? So let's go through here. I don't know. Somebody put in the chat a niche. What are you working on right now? Where's the chat?
I was thinking personal injury attorneys, but it seems that when I started reading, watching some sales videos, that those guys get hit all the time. Is personal injury not a good niche?
And any niche is a good niche. I mean, it's just the way that you approach them, right? So I'll give you an example. Like Jeff Miller, he's a guy I follow for my ads. He was wanting to do chiropractors, and same thing, they're getting hit up all the time.
Right.
Chiropractors are getting all the time. And so what he found by doing this and getting things organized is everybody was talking to the chiropractors the wrong way. All he found out was chiropractors, they don't want more free consultations. Those free consultations are penny pinchers that are coming into their office. They want to get a massage for cheap, and then they just wait till the next Groupon or they wait till the next coupon or whatever, and they go to the next person. They're not what's it called? Loyal to that chiropractor practice. And so what he found out was his messaging was just off. And when he started digging deeper, it was we help chiropractors get more tens unit clients. A tens unit is like one of those little things that has like electricity. It's like a patch and it shocks you and it like, I don't know, jerks your muscles and whatever. Well, the chiropractors, they sell those for $100 and they get them from a wholesaler. So they make money the same way that I'm making money off the project scope document. So it doesn't matter and it filters out who's serious or not. But then it leads into another problem. They get the tens unit, they have to have a consultation. What's going on? Oh, okay, you should probably get a back alignment. And now when you start fixing that patient's problems, their back problems, their leg problems, their bones, whatever, they're going to come back to you because you're fixing their problem. Whereas a massage, I could go and get a massage or a free consultation. You know, I can go to the spa here at the Hyatt. I could go to the lady on the beach. It's all the same to me. I mean, sometimes, you know, the lady will, if she gives me the deep tissue massage, some are better than the other, but it's like I'm not going to get her number and call her. I get a massage when I feel like it, right? And so it, I wouldn't say that personal injury attorneys, just because they get hit up all the time, it's a problem, then you're not going to land any business. The problem is you don't know their problem that's going to get them to sit down and have a meeting with you, right? Even when I was working the cervical cancer spot, we had a messenger RNA test. They were unaware that the DNA test was a different test. So how did I get their attention? I would stand in the hallway. I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but I used to drive my motorcycle. I purposely separated myself from looking like another rep. I'd have my helmet with my leather jacket and my boots and a backpack on. And they would think that like I was visiting a patient, like I was in the hospital, like, you know, sitting there trying to go see somebody, and the doctor would walk by me and I would catch him off guard. Doctor, how often have you done a colposcopy and you don't see anything? And they would look at me and be like, why are you asking me that? And I'm like, no, seriously, how many times have you done a colpo and you don't see anything on the slides? And then you go and do a biopsy and it comes back negative. And they're like, yeah, that happens. Why? Who are you? I'm like, yeah, well, you know, there's two different tests that your office is using. And they're like, what do you mean? And right there in that 30 seconds, it caught their attention. One, they didn't know who I was. Two, I started talking high level to them in their own language. And then it started progressing into the conversation. Okay, what when you don't see HSIL, these are the epithelial cells on the slide, what do those conversations look like? And they're like, oh, they become annoying. Like I become their therapist, or and then they started telling me their problems. Okay, so you're having these crazy conversations, and then doctor, you're doing this because you have like, if the insurance company is like, if it's a malpractice, like if you don't check it and they did get cancer, then you're on the line, right? And they're like, yeah, that's what I'm really afraid of. None of the other sales reps were talking about the insurance coming to them for malpractice because they didn't see that. Now, there was a problem with that. The biopsies are being cut out of a woman's cervix by, like, to just cover it. But to the woman, that's an invasive practice, which if they're under a certain age, it could lead to pregnancies that kind of like an ectopic pregnancy or stillbirth, because they're cutting out. But the doctor's doing that because if they did have cancer, then they came back and the insurance company was like, hey, you didn't do this properly. Yeah, but I saw on the slides that there was something that was messed up with the epithelial cells, but you stopped there. You didn't do a biopsy according to the guidelines. That's what you're supposed to do. And so what was happening was they were getting false positives, but all the other reps were sitting there talking about, oh, I can reduce false positives. I don't know, dude, you're not, false positives mean nothing to me. I just go and do a colpo, right? And they didn't take it the next step. So my point is that you have to understand the industry that you're in and their real true problems to have a conversation. Does that make sense? I mean, that's just a personal experience thing that I did, where I started talking about malpractice insurance when they weren't seeing a problem on the slide underneath the microscope with the test. And then that led me into, yeah, I have 2 minutes. That was an hour and a half conversation where the nurses would come in and be like, Mrs. Smith is here. Nah, tell them to wait a second. Why? Because what I was presenting to them was like, if you could reduce those conversations by 34%, I could go play golf more. And that's what I was doing. And that's the way you got to think. And this is what this does right here to understand that industry. I don't know anything about personal injury attorneys.
So how do you pivot this then, Nick? And I know you want to do this link canvas, but so for instance, I work with a couple of personal injury attorneys now with this other agency. One of them is spending $3,000 a month for SEO, just so that their, car accident, slip and fall, all this stuff. So we work on their SEO and they're paying $3,000 a month to be in some searches. From there, they don't do anything. So the CTA is fill out a form. Call me. I'll help you get some money from your accident, you know? So if I were to reach out to personal injury attorneys, and say, are you, in my head, I'm thinking, are you getting leads? What are you doing with these leads? How are you closing them? How are you following up? How are you nurturing these leads? Or is that even something, I guess you got to figure out your niche. So that's kind of where I'm stumbling. It's like, what do I say to them? Not in like the words, but the context of, you're doing SEO, you're doing PPC. What are you doing with these guys, with these leads after you're getting them?
That's exactly what you ask them. You say, so you already know that these people are spending $3,000 a month? Like they're one of your clients?
Yeah. They're not, they're the agency clients, and that I've talked to you about this agency. So yes, and I see this all the time in these clients because the big push is selling SEO and PPC. That's the way the agency makes their money, you know, with SEO and PPC. Now, then we do a monthly meeting, and we just show where they are for SEO. Here's where you are on Google. Here's where you are on Bing. Here's how many call rail calls you got. Here's how many form fills you got. And then they say, yeah, but we didn't close any of them. Well, we can't do anything about your closing rate. You know, that's up to
That's
you.
on you. Yeah, that's on them.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're saying like it's you, the agency, and then the business.
Yes.
And the agency is basically saying, we we did our job.
Yep.
We gave you the clicks. You got it. Now, because you didn't close on those deals, that's on you. You need to hire a salesperson. You need to have some sort of system in place, right?
Yep.
Okay. And so the agency that you're working with, they could have a churn rate of they're probably going out and looking for more business because in 6 months, this company, the what's it called? What is it?
Personal injury guy.
The personal injury guys are like, yeah, you guys got us that, but we didn't get any sales. We're spending $3,000 a month with no,
Yep.
like, it's an expense. It's not an asset. We should be making at least $3,000 back and break even, or
Exactly.
10,000, right?
So
So
the attrition is,
is
yeah.
your agency churning through all of these
Oh
like
my
every
God.
six
Yeah.
months?
That's the biggest problem. You know, the attrition is so high, mostly because, of course, SEO sometimes can seem like snake oil to them, you know,
Well, it
even though you
takes six
show them
months
where they are.
yeah.
If they're not getting, and actually there was another, it's another vertical, but the guy actually said this in our last meeting. He said, you know, I'm spending $3,000 a month, and I didn't get enough sales to even cover my $3,000. This is something that I cannot continue, which makes sense as a business owner. I'm like, yeah, I get that. But all we're doing is PPC, bringing in leads, or SEO. So there's nothing after that point what that go high level could do, you know, put them in a workflow, do text call back.
May may
Well,
I may I say something, Nick?
sure.
From my Yellow Page days, because I worked with attorneys. So it was just a question with Go High Level. Even though he's a personal injury attorney, what is he doing with the follow up on those leads? Because even though they didn't close, sometimes people have a delay in when they do look. So sometimes they'll get an attorney really quick, but sometimes they won't.
Yeah.
I know my husband, he actually had a situation at work, and at first he did not get an attorney, right? But then about 2 or 3 months later, he did get an attorney. So what is the attorney doing to do maybe like a reactivation campaign or something
Well,
like that?
that's what she's asking. So that, I mean, for you, Teresa, I see an opportunity to steal those clients that are turning over. And how do you do that? Is you build a case study and let the case study sell itself, right? And so if you can go to, and I don't know your relationship with them inside your agency, either you go to the agency and say, hey, run a report. If you can get a report and you can see how many clients they started with in January and how many clients they don't have now, like let's say they started with 100 clients in January. 60 clients dropped off, and then they got another 60, so they're still at 100. Your agency is not growing. They're actually just stagnant, and it's just churning over new people. And there's a problem there. And that problem is that they're making $3,000 a month on SEO, but they're not providing the extra step or the extra solution to keep them going forever. Because if they had 160 and then another 60 came on, what is that, 210? They got 210. Now they doubled their business in a year. And they're not doing that because they don't have the proper stuff in, they don't have the proper you know, like customer journey.
The value is not there.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
value is not there. And so at that point, you have one of two options. Either you go steal all those clients that got dropped off, but they're probably going to have a bad taste. That's going to be hard to do because they're going to be like, no, you work for them, you know, it didn't work. We decided to go somewhere else. Or you go to your agency and you come up with a report, like just, and really it's easy. Just go to ChatGPT, have a conversation and say, hey, look, here's my problem. I'm working with this agency. We had this many clients in January and we have this many, there's a drop off, whatever. And say, can you put this together so I can present this to my manager or my boss or my agency owner or whoever? And I want to position it to where he's going to view this as a solution to increasing the outcomes of his clients so that he can grow. And I want to be the one that's a part of that so that I can sell this to them. And then ChatGPT will spit all that out to you. And you go to him and say, look, here's this document. These are how many clients we had that did this, and that. And then they dropped off because you guys are telling them, hey, we just do SEO, but I see an opportunity here. And here's my solution for that. Right. And then you provide them the solution. Like we can offer AI that will go out and set these. And what does that do for us as the agency? We sell that for another $297 up top. Let's give this away for free and just get some case studies for it. Maybe not give it away for free. I don't know. I mean, a personal injury attorney's like sell it to the next two people that come in for 3,000 plus, maybe it's 3,500 with the AI. I don't know, whatever it is. And then you're in the calls with Adam and Brendan and Jarrell, and you're setting that up. And then you keep track of all of that. Because again, like I said in the beginning of the call, is most of the business owners don't know what they don't know. And so when you try to change things, they get scared. But if you showed proper documentation with here's the numbers, you guys are missing out on this, and we're losing, 30% of our clients paying 3,000, which that's, 30 clients, that's 90 grand a month that we're missing out on and now you have to go and find new clients. And it's just creating this hamster wheel of we get a new client, they last for 6 months, they die off, and we're not keeping anybody here. And I have a solution for that.
Yeah.
That's how I would approach that. And
Well, and that was my thought on the niche on personal injury, because I see it. There's several personal injury attorneys that I'm working with right now, and chiropractors and mortgage brokers. Those are the three that I identified from this agency.
so now you just taught me something, right? So you can run an advertisement to personal injury attorneys. Have you been burnt on SEO? You paid an agency $3,000 a month and didn't see, results. You should still be doing your stuff. The problem is you don't have a process or a system in place to follow up with those organic leads that we know are ready to buy from you. And your expectation was you thought the SEO agency was going to handle that for you. And when you found out that that was not the case, you have a bad taste in your mouth from this. You lost a shit ton of money, right? Click on this, make a landing page. Hey, my name is Teresa. I worked with, 200 personal injury attorneys, and this is what I saw. The agency that I was working with wiped their hands clean from the SEO services because they put that on you as the company. You're a busy attorney. I get that, right? And break it down into a personalized approach. And the
Yep.
landing page would just say, if you ever spent money with an SEO company, I have firsthand experience working with them. And I've seen the pain that you've gone through, the $10,000 in the past 3 months that you've lost, and the conversations with how that goes with the agency. And now you're back at square one and you have a bunch of leads coming in because the SEO is still working, you're just not paying for it. So what's my solution? We nurture those people coming to your website. That's the problem that these SEO agencies don't understand. My name is Teresa, and I get 54% better, you know, I don't know, whatever it is that you do,
Yeah.
right? And how do we do that? We do that using AI, so you don't have to spend time doing it. You're only on phone calls with people ready to pay you a minimum of $10,000 in 30 minutes. Schedule a call with me. And then that's where that process goes of how I teach it is you have a 10-minute discovery call. You tell them, listen, I completely know your pain. I've been there. That's actually how I started this company because I worked for an SEO company and they didn't want to listen. And I've created the solution for that. And it all starts with a project scope document. And this project scope document is going to take all the stuff that you've had in your head, the same stuff that you passed off to the SEO agency, and we're going to create a workflow and a pipeline to help support your front desk girl, your sales team, your whatever, and it's going to be put on autopilot. I have to charge you $100 for this. It's going to take me 6 hours to organize it. And by the time that I present this to you the next week or whenever it is, you're going to have a full layout of how we do this, right? We can integrate it into your current CRM. We can provide you with a CRM, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. You do that, you bring it back to them and you say, look, here's the thing. It costs $6,000 to do it, and the first one, I mean, ideally, I think the first one you're going to want to do is like you got to get a case study because if you're going up to people that have a bad taste from their previous experience, those people are kind of difficult. But personal injury attorneys, they're attorneys, they make money. Like the money's definitely there. You just have to build trust with them of like, hey, I feel your pain. I know I worked for 2 years in this other agency and I kept telling the owner he needs to do this. He didn't listen. So I've just branched off on my own and here's the results. Here's a case study we did just, a month ago, 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, whatever. And, they were paying 3,000. They came in with not having anything. And then we implemented my process and my product into it. And out of that 3,000, they're getting a 1-to-6 ratio. They're getting a 1-to-6 return. For every dollar they put in, they get $6 back, right? So now you're profitable and you're only on calls with people that are qualified. That's how you would do that. And that comes down to this. All right, let's do the personal injury attorneys. I'll do this with you. Let me share my screen. Brandon, what's up? Before I start, I'll answer your question.
Yeah, I think you've kind of answered it here and there with what you've just been talking to Teresa about. I'll just summarize this real quick. I ended up starting up this conversation with a guy who left a comment on an ad, and it just piqued my curiosity. And I was he has a rather what comes across as a high ticket pressure washing company, like he's doing large estates. And I asked him, I'm like, just out of curiosity, because his comment was so skeptical about this cleaning company ad that he was commenting on. And I kind of went into, those questions that you would ask, you have X amount of hours to fix these problems in your business. And he kind of came back to me and was like, I want a more direct approach. He's like, the clients I deal with don't haggle, they don't negotiate. They just want their stuff done and looking proper. And he said, if you could help me zero in on that type of clientele, I'd cash you out. And I'm like, wow, okay, he's told me his problem. How do I respond to that? Like I don't want to mess my response up and say something that kind of like turns them away. But I was like, wow, there's an opportunity right there. What do I say?
Say, cool. In order for me to understand your business, we'd have to jump on a 10 to 15 minute call.
Hmm.
Would you be down?
Hmm.
So that's where I said you got to split the sales process up in
Right.
sections, right?
Yeah.
So you're not worried about selling him anything just yet. You need him to be on a call. So
Hmm.
you say, hey, that's cool, bro. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. But in order for me to get a better understanding of everything, let's just set up a 15-minute Zoom call and I can go through this with you because I do have that experience in doing that, and it could probably save you time and just keep it broad, right? If you start saying anything about AI, they have the option to choose, I can get out of this. No, I don't want AI. If this is what he does with AI,
Yeah, of
no,
course.
I don't want him to do it. So you got to keep it broad, but like honed in on the point. So I would just respond, yeah, I mean, I don't know if like you can make a joke. I don't know if I want to be cashed out. Like I have other clients, right? Make yourself look busy. I have other clients too, but the way that I work is we set up a 10 to 15 minute call, we go through it, and if it makes sense, we can move to the next step where I create like a plan. And then
Mm.
he'd be like, oh, okay, no one's ever said that to me before. Create a plan. All right, yeah, let's do it. Right. So then you're on that call and you go through and you just listen to him. You should not be talking on that call. And you just ask him, yeah, so why'd you take this call? That's the first question I would ask him. Why'd you take this call? He's just going to start blabbering about every single thing, why he took the call. And you're going to listen and you're going to listen really deep. And then you're going to feel this urge to talk. And then you're going to ask another question and another question and another question. You don't stop asking questions. And when you feel the urge, you do. And you got to tell your brain, no, keep asking another question, right? When you feel that urge, you don't want to ask another, you don't want to just go into, okay, until he starts asking you the questions, that's when you say, okay, I pretty much have a full understanding of what your problems are. The way that I work is, and I'm going to set the expectations right now just to give you an idea of how I work, because I work completely different than anybody out there putting out Facebook ads and Instagram ads, because we do this a lot with a lot of clients. We set up another meeting because I want to dive a little bit deeper and fully understand how the flow of your stuff would go. You mentioned that you don't want to deal with shitty clients. You just basically want to just move them along in some sort of funnel or pipeline where they understand what they get and they just buy it. That might include getting on a call with you real quick or just going to a landing page. I don't know, but we might be able to improve it. Um, and so what I do is I charge 150 bucks to do that. The reason being is because it's going to take me 5 to 6 hours to get that organized for you. And that way I can come back to you and I can provide you with the detailed plan of what you need to build or have built. And this does two things for you, Mr. Client. It either allows you to work with me because at that point I'll have a price of how much it would cost to build this. Or you can go and build this yourself or go find somebody else, right? So now you're giving them the out. They have a choice. Like it's a no-brainer choice. There's no, I'm not tied to Brandon, right?
Hmm.
And so now inevitably, dude, every time I say this, they say, yeah, let's do it. Because you're not selling them anything. You're giving them a choice for $150 to figure out the next step in their pain points from that 10 to 15 minute conversation. And so they'll buy it. Like the other day, I raised my price from 150 to 250. I'm going to raise it to 350 in the next 2 months, right?
Yeah.
And and so now he's going to come back. You're going to get on a call with him, and you're going to go through all of. I don't know if you've seen my calls. Just go and watch all the calls, the second calls. Watch all of them and see how I organize it. The other on Saturday, yesterday, I had a call. I did that project scope document in 18 minutes. 18 minutes, and he paid 250 for it.
Hmm.
And he's gonna I'm gonna come back to him in a couple days, and then you do all that entire that project scope document. send it off to Adam and Brendan if you're in the partnership program. I can't remember if you are.
I'm not in the partnership program. I'm in the VIP
Okay.
group.
So that's fine. Do it yourself. And then once you come back and you sell this to him, at that point, now we're back to where we talked about this earlier is,
Mhm.
you know, for your first couple, like I get it. The partnership program's $1,000 or $2,000, depending on which one you want.
Yeah.
If you can hone in on this process, what you just did of, hey, like you're scouring ads, dude. That's a great way. I don't know. I've done that before, but I don't know if I put that in the
I
course.
wasn't even scouring ads. It came across my feed
Dude,
and hey, I like the way this is edited. I want to use this as an example. And I read the comments.
focus
Oh,
focus on the comments in
yeah,
ads.
for
That's a
sure.
really good thing. I do that sometimes. I
Yep.
probably should do it more. One, because those are the people that ad resonated with, and now you can steal them from the ads that they saw. And so you just hone in on that now. So now you have your lead gen J cold emails going. Get that organized. But while you're waiting, go and scour all the ads from all these problems. Like even like the ads. So what I do is I mess with the algorithm. I'll go like the ads or I'll comment on somebody's thing and I'll try to get the ads shown to me so I can look at those comments. And then like you did, it's simple. 10-minute call, a project scope document, and you will have 100% show rate to have them come back on the call to present them your price because they paid for it. And so you can even tell him, look, dude, if you really understand this, like, look at how I got you on this call. I have 100% show rate. You came back. Why? Because you paid me. This is what I do. I do this for myself in my own business, and I teach other people how to do this, and we implement it through this project scope. And then he'll be like, oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, he did get me. Like I didn't even feel like I was being sold to because he's not. He's not going to feel that he's being sold to. He already told you he'd clear you out if you could fix that problem for him.
Yeah.
So so
And
yeah,
his solution is just a matter of setting up some sort of system to qualify leads and get those type of clients in versus, $200 jobs.
dude, we have all of that. Look, I'm going to show you. I'll show you what I did yesterday in 18 minutes. This was the project scope document. Where is it? My drive. This is all you have to build for these people.
Nick, when you're going through the project scope call, are you just going through their customer journey from, just that part of it? Because I know there's different sections of that scope document. I've got a couple templates.
No, I do it like this. Look, so these are I had a call with this guy yesterday. I just did 001 new lead. Okay, the trigger. Someone sent you a DM inside Instagram. They comment on a keyword. Those keywords rotate each day. Keywords have separate funnels. Form from a comment or a reply to a story. So he's getting all of his leads from Instagram. The goal, what's the goal? So I always start with the workflow. What's the trigger? What's the goal? And what needs to happen? I'm actually going to put, so what's his name? Scott, with me and Scott discussed this the other day. And I went through a training and I'm going to put this in the sales calls in a different section. So if you have my sales calls, all of this will be here. This call is inside there. But I always start with trigger, goal, and what needs to happen. So the goal is of the new lead, we need to filter and qualify the leads to have a certain amount of views on their Instagram videos. So for your guy with his power, I think you said power washing,
Yeah,
is like
high pressure.
high pressure washing is like they need to have a minimum of 1,000 square foot driveway. They need to have a minimum of $500, whatever the qualifying thing is. There's probably questions, right? What needs to happen in order to work with the potential client? There needs to be a qualification process in place. That means that the most recent videos 9 to 12, have to have at least a minimum of 2,000 views per post. So what, like, they're going to stay in new lead until this gets passed. So those who qualify, ask them qualifying questions. So inside here, the AI is going to go out and ask these qualifying questions. If they're ready to start ASAP, schedule a call right away. If they need to wait, then more qualifying questions and follow up when they request. And then those who don't qualify, they just ignore them. Like, it's like, no, I can't work with you. And then you just have a booked call and a no-show, right? No-show is always the same. Booked call, had the meeting, okay, a trigger link is sent. The goal is allow the setters and the closers to sell the product. So that's, he has them going to, you know, a setter or well, the AI is actually going to be the setter. So just have the closers sell the product. A successful call is 90% they pay on the call. So collect their email and their phone number. The manager then adds the client to a Telegram group for everyone to communicate. There's a contract that goes out, right? So we have to build a contract, a calendar, and qualifying questions. That's it. And I started actually talking to him and going further. And I was like, okay, what about onboarding? And he was like, no, dude, I don't need that. I just want AI. I just want an AI setter. And now I already handed this off to Adam and Brendan. They're going to build out this entire thing. And then it's going to come back as an organized, you know, document. And hopefully I close them.
Sure. And when you're going through this though, like there's various parts of that project scope document. It starts off with the goals, desired outcomes, there's timelines, there's all that stuff. Are you just with the client going through their workflows and automation, like their pipeline, and then going in after and saying, okay, they need a custom value here, custom value there. You're not going over that with the client. You're kind of pulling that out of the pipeline
Yeah.
stages.
Let me
You're
show
just
you.
going through. Like the
Yeah.
deliverables, you put that in after your call because you know what needs to be delivered.
The deliverables. Yeah, this is what Adam and Brendan put together for
Right.
me.
If I get on a project scope call with somebody tomorrow, the only thing I'm going through with them on that call is from the beginning of their buyer sales journey, whatever, to the moment they get paid, that process. Everything
Yep.
else gets filled in after. We're just going through the pipeline stages.
Yeah, exactly. You go through the pipeline and the workflow stages. And as things come up, like, so this one I had another call with the other day. The guy's name is Ken. This one was long actually because he has two businesses. I went through and so we went through and he has a B2B company and then he has a B2C. And so we started with one. We did B2B. We did a pipeline here. We went through the pipeline and then we went through all the workflows. So we did new lead, no show, deep dive, right? Onboarding. Look, like this onboarding, I started asking them questions. Like, no show is all the same. If they have a phone call,
Yeah.
that's on them. But then if they start getting a client, what needs to happen, right? So in order to get the assessments, they need to know, are you a salesperson? Are you a manager? Are you a manager of managers? Like this guy sells a high ticket $8,000 to $30,000, thing for B2B companies, right? He'll go in and help your whole entire company build out a sales team, right? And so then we just went through that. And then we have another company down here, right? So the assets during the conversation, this comes up. Oh, you need a calendar. Okay. Oh, you need a form to collect info in A006. Oh, you need a landing page. Oh, you need this, right? This, I don't ever ask. It's just like it comes up in the conversation. If you have my sales course, all this stuff is in there. I don't know if you have
I
it.
don't have it.
Okay, yeah, all of this stuff is inside that, like it's clear as day. It's organized in a clear cut way. The only thing is I haven't uploaded basically I have a training because I did it with Scott the other day. I'm gonna upload exactly what you're asking me because I did it with Scott the other day inside there. Maybe after
And
golf.
it's really helpful, by the way. I am here.
Yeah, I saw you.
Nick, is the sales thing that you're referring to the one that's in Go High Level Mastery?
No. No, it's
That's
not.
the one. That's the one I bought.
Okay, so this, okay, yeah, this one, I'll add you, Teresa, into here. Um, I don't know what this number is. I don't know where these numbers come from. That's not true. I don't know where that comes from, but these are, this is the high ticket prospecting course. This
I have
is
that,
like,
I think. Yeah.
yeah, you have this. So it has just the 9 or 10 videos.
That's right.
Now, the sales one, let me see if I can just preview
Is
this.
that the $89 one?
But yeah, this one
Okay.
has all my sales calls, right? So this is the discovery 10 to 15 minute calls. And I keep uploading all of them in here. So right now, this was the one that I had yesterday. So these ones are all, I mean, it says 10 to 15 minutes. Some of them might be 30 minutes, some of them might be, 20. I try to keep it at 10 to 15 minutes. Then the second one is the customer journey. Brandon, this is the one that you're asking. These are, I have more of these. I just have to upload them, but these ones are all of the project scope documents that after they pay you the 250, then or the 150 or the 97 or whatever, these are exactly what I do to do that.
Right.
You can watch these. These are where this is the one that I did yesterday in like 18 minutes. This one was 2 hours. That's the one that I just showed you. This one took us a long time. One, he had a meeting, then I had to jump off and I had to get on a meeting and I combined all of it together. Right. And then this one is where you present it and you close the deal with the document that you created. And so they're just going through the document. I mean, I don't know. There's not really a timeline. I try to keep this at 45 minutes, but sometimes they have questions. This one was a long call. This one was like an hour and 20 minutes. These guys are in Israel and there's a little bit of language barrier, but I'm waiting for them to sign the paperwork on this one. I just sent
Hey,
this to
you included a link in your most recent email about your playbook, and then it's got an upsell thing with the prospecting course and the sales call package.
hmm
Is that the
Yeah,
same sales
it's
call
just
that you just showed
yeah,
us?
yep, it's the
'Cause
same. It's all right here.
yeah, you don't have a separate link, I guess, for that, hey, because I've already purchased the prospecting course.
No, I can add you into it. Yeah, inside here, like if you click on this, it'll have the links in here. Like right here.
But
It
those are
it
your
has
sales calls.
no. This would be to get this sale. Yeah, this would be to get the sales calls. But since you bought it on Adam and Brendan's account,
Yeah.
I'll just add you in my account too. So it's the same thing that you have either in mine or Adam's. But Adam doesn't have the sales calls, and that's what I'm telling you is you'll find it here in this course.
Okay,
Okay.
so what do I need to do? Sorry.
Um, I will. I'm not going to share my screen with everybody because it has your phone number and your email and everything and everybody else. I'll add you into there and I'll just send you the link. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just send the link to everybody here.
I have the link to the purchase page, and I was actually getting ready to purchase that. But
Okay, on the purchase page, you will see get the sales calls. That's the link. That's the link I'm going to send you.
okay.
Yeah.
Nick, is there a new, because I got the prospecting class when you first rolled it out, so I didn't get the second part of it. How would I pay this?
Here, I'm going to just put it in here. I don't know if you put your name as Kathy. Yeah, Kathy King right here. So I'm going to put you in here. So you just got an email, Kathy, to make a username and password because you bought it. You bought it on Adam and
Because
Brendan's.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, same with
So
me.
Okay,
So
so
you
what
have
I'm gonna
two
do
right
is
now, Nick, because my head's a little jumbled. You have two. One was the $29 thing, the sales course, and I went through that, and that's in Go High Level Mastery. And then you've got this $89 that has all the sales calls in it. That's
I
on yours, right?
the reason why you guys are confused is because when me and Adam and Brendan launched this, we put it on their account.
Right.
So it's in their Go High Level. The same course is available. I just uploaded it into mine and I'll
Oh,
share that with
gotcha.
you so that you have my course section that has the sales calls inside it as well, right?
Oh, okay.
Because they don't have access to the sales calls. We just never uploaded it into their account. So
wait,
Teresa,
wait. So the $29 includes the sales calls, Nick?
no, it doesn't. It's two
It
separate
doesn't.
things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's
some
two
people
separate things.
bought, yeah, some people purchased it from Adam and Brendan's account because we did it collaboratively together. We did it collaboratively together. And so there's two places that you can buy the the prospecting course. The sales
Mm.
course, the sales course, I only have it in my account because it's mine. Adam and Brendan aren't on my calls.
And isn't that an additional like $60 to the prospecting call or
It's
something like
eight
that?
it's $89 for the calls. And that's, I mean, I gotta edit this stuff. It's a steal because I gotta edit this stuff. I gotta put it into there. And it's information. It's like it's what I did to close all these deals. So the other one is you, Brandon.
Hey guys, I'll also tell you because I got it, it's worth every dime because everything's in logical order. And whether you're trying to understand how to do the 15-minute call, the middle call, or the close call, they're all in a great, very simple way to follow. I use that process to get ready for my last meeting. It's really good. So just my kudos on it because it's like having cliff notes and being able to go, hey, this is what I need to know how to do right now. And there are multiple examples in multiple industries.
Could you please share the link again, Nick? I was leaving my house, so my Zoom cut out.
Yeah,
You,
I'm just gonna send you the link.
on Facebook.
No, I'll send it right here in here.
Is it the Vault sales course or calls? The Vault
Yes.
sales calls. Okay. I got my card in there right now. Complete order.
I will say everyone that's a VIP, I absolutely recommend adding Nick's course because it adds to what you're learning and shows you the sales side of it. I can't wait to get the other piece.
I'm trying to find the link.
I put it in chat if that's the right one. nlbuilds.com slash the vault sales calls with hyphens in between each. Right?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, that will work, or this one just has everything. This is like after you get through that page.
Oh, it's the page that it's your full page that has everything on it, right?
Yeah, this one.
I have that.
Yeah. That's where all of that is.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm gonna do? Instead of getting into this lean canvas today, I'm gonna ask my mentor, Dustin, to get on a call with us next week. And go through this because he can present it way better, and I think it will help everybody. I think today, I mean, I don't know, hopefully this call today was good for everybody. But um, you know, you got to decide whether or not you're going to be a are you going to build? Are you going to be a builder? Do you want to be so Teresa, like you're kind of you're inside the agency, right? And so basically they're paying you and you're a part of the VIP mastery calls every day,
Right.
right?
Right.
And you're doing that. Like that's how you're doing it. Now, if you want to shift and you want to be the sales consultant and basically, I mean, really take all the problems that your agency is having and make your own business out of it, like you have
Well,
a good
that's what I
starting
want. Yeah. I mean, it's and not anything derogatory, but it kind of is. So I presented just a very lighthearted solution to one of the owners. And he said, well, if we do that, then we have to go back and ask for more money, and I don't want to lose any more clients. So I don't know. I do have a call set up with Adam for Tuesday, but this would be totally on my own. That's what I'm wanting to do. I don't want, but I would augment the agency and make money on that too. But I don't want it to be dependent upon this agency for my business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally understand that. Andy, you have a question about if you wanted to be a part of, if you wanted to be a builder.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious, like if I really doubling down on my improving my familiarity on the go high level and really become more like an implementer, because this is kind of somehow similar to the more than 10 years experience that I had with engineering. Whether what would be the pathway to do it? Do I need to kind of like get myself kind of certified, quote unquote, to be like a GHL expert, or and stuff like that.
Okay, so look, I mean, I can make this extremely easy for you. You go to Upwork, you create an Upwork profile, and you find people that are looking to pay for this. An AI solution integration team needed for client growth. You apply to the jobs and you say, hey, me and my team integrate AI solutions for agencies like you. And just tell them I charge $1,000 a month. I spend 10 hours a week inside calls with my team, and we have to build a project scope document. You come over to all of these things, find work, and you type in chatbot, sales funnel, whatever you want to do. Digital marketing strategy and execution support, 30 hours for 30 hours a week. And you can, hourly, you can get $50 an hour. So 50 times 30 is $1,500 a week for you just to be on calls with them and help them, and then jump into Adam and Brendan's group. And now you're making six grand a month for just working with this client. Like if I Andy, I know that you have these courses that I've bought. I mean that I've made that you bought. Like I don't know how to be any more clear. Just follow exactly what it says to do. Like this is inside the course. I teach you exactly how to make your Upwork profile, exactly what to say, everything that this one, you have a chance at getting $6,000 a month by just being a builder. Just be a builder. Just go in. They're looking for someone that can manage all of that for them. This allows you to be inside Adam and Brendan's Go High Level Mastery VIP, which costs $497. Let's say you got $30 an hour and be conservative. Times 30 hours a week is 900 bucks. 9 times 4 is what? 9 times 4 is 36. I'm so bad at math. Yeah, that's $3,600, right? $3,600 minus 497. That's 3 grand a month. And you don't have to work 30 hours a week. They're not like you're not going to work 30 hours a week, but maybe you will. But if that one doesn't fit, go and find another one. Like a consultation and setup on lead generation strategy for an agency, right? They spent $5,000. they're willing to pay 400 bucks. This is basically your project scope document. Right here is your project scope document. And instead of paying 150, they're going to pay 400. They want consulting. And then the sales funnel setup is the final price that you're going to give to them when that document is completed. And if you're in the partner program, you have Adam and Brendan build it. If not, you build it. You divvy out your time and say, okay, this is going to take 8 weeks to build it. You have 8 weeks to sit on the calls with Adam and Brendan, and they will help you build it inside the VIP program. And now you have 8 grand, and now you can rinse and repeat and go and get 5 new clients, join the partnership program, have me on your calls, dish off the work to Adam and Brendan, charge your client 10 grand. Adam and Brendan charge you 6. You make 4 plus 297, 597, 397, whatever per month. You have to start somewhere. You have to start small. And right here on Upwork is literally this was updated. This was posted 10 minutes ago. Watch, I'll reload this. Sometimes like 10 minutes ago, 11 minutes ago, 32 minutes ago. This is never ending clients right here in front of you every single hour, second of the day.
I've got web projects off of here, just by not being sales. I didn't meet any of their criteria, and I just started talking to her, and I ended up with an accessibility website, $7,700, and they had a $400 budget. I said, because they wanted Weebly. I said, I don't work in Weebly, but here's what I do. If you want to use this. And she was like, yes, this is what we
Yeah,
want.
exactly. Like in the past 12 hours, because it's 12 o'clock. So between last night at midnight until now, look at all these jobs that have been posted. And this is just AI chatbot. You could type in whatever you want here. You could type in, I could type in literally go high level.
Yeah.
6 minutes ago, create high converting go high level landing pages for a fitness consulting. They've spent $7,000. They'll pay you right here. These guys, Monday.com and go high level administrator. Here you go, Andy. Set up and manage automated workflows, AI driven tools, qualifications, strong knowledge of go high level AI tools. Don't bid $5 if you're going to come back later with a ridiculous price. And you got to put purple mushroom in the first line so that they know that you read it.
Oh, maybe I don't think I like after you show me all this, which I have not gone into details before. Maybe I don't like the technical as much as I thought. Okay, I'll stop there.
Well, at that case, bro, I don't know. You gotta figure
Yeah, I know,
what you
man.
want to
Like,
do.
yes. Hey, I'm gonna get a course now. Because I already got your live video call course, which is extremely helpful. Thank you. I've already gone through the first section. Um, so with that $29 cost, is that the one that you'll be focusing, talking more about how to navigate in Upwork, or is that going to be Upwork and 5 hour?
Yeah, this one has, look,
I'm gonna get it anyway. It's okay.
it's just prospecting. It's using all the channels, like the cold email. Look, see, this says, I don't know where these numbers are coming from. I didn't make $600 in the past 10 minutes. I don't know what that is. Look, like this has cold email, YouTube videos and comments, freelance websites, Facebook groups, LinkedIn, and I probably will add what Brandon said is because I do this is go and find all the advertisements and like them, and then like troll in the groups and send the people or troll in the comments and send people uh DMs. Hey, I saw you commented on that ad. Did you end up going with them? I was thinking about buying it, right? And they'd be like, "No, I wasn't doing that." Oh, cool. What problems do you have? Just start the conversation with the guy or the girl that commented on one of the advertisements. That's something that you could offer, right? So next week, I'm hoping that Dustin can jump on a call with us and do um, and do this lean canvas, because this lean canvas will help a lot with you for getting organized, right? So you have to figure out, if you learn anything from today, is do you want to be a builder or do you want to scale this? Now, the scaling part of it is, I mean, I struggled for a long time doing this. Without Adam and Brendan, you can't do it. Like you can't, because you sell an $11,000 build, you sell a $10,000 build, and you get that money, but that takes you 6 to 9 weeks to build it, and that's them building it. It would take you even longer. Like it would take you, that would be a full-time job for 11 grand, 10 grand. But then as you do that, obviously the time goes by, you got to pay your rent, you got to pay, you're going to sit at your computer forever. You're not going to be selling it because you're too busy building it. And so there's no way to really do it without Adam and Brendan, other than you build your own team. And now what happens there is now you're building a business on this side to sell this. And now you're building a business inside your business to do that. You got to interview people. You got to make sure that people are on the right track. And that's why I use Adam and Brendan in the partnership program. Okay, yeah, $1,000 a month. You think that that's expensive, but when you use the tools in the prospecting course, when you use the tools in the sales course, $1,000 is what allows you to make $5,000, $10,000. And you know, that's the only way to do it. So you can, and in the beginning, like I did in the beginning, I worked with a golf client. I got um a client from Upwork. I did the golf stuff. And then I realized, like, oh my God, even just organizing this and staying organized is hard. I have to have a ticketing system, because like he has questions. I'm not available 24/7 for him to just text me. This stuff gets lost in a text. So I need a system to know where, what do I have to work on? When is it due by? And it's not easy. So again, the other thing is, read this book. 10x is easier than 2x. This book is like, it's amazing. And read this book. I've only read 105 pages in this book, and this is what has allowed me to do the 63,000 in the 6 weeks, right? It even says 0 to 100 million in no time flat. I did 0 to 63 in 6 weeks. Now that was sales. The profit was about 28 grand. So I profited 28 grand in 6 weeks, and I only read 105 pages. It just got me to think the right way.
I ordered
Bernard,
that book.
what'd you say?
I said I just ordered that book, the second book.
Oh,
I'm
the
on that
book,
2X.
that book is like, my other mentor told me that, Nick, you're in your mind, you have these limiting beliefs, you're screwing up. Read this book and do not deviate from this book. And I only read 105 and I didn't deviate. And
You
these are
did.
the results that I got. Like, this is what's happening.
Nick, I did Lean Canvas like back in 2014, and I just sent you a Facebook. I made a questionnaire for some clients, and it might help if people wanted to go through it when you do it next week.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Cool, cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Nick.
So, yeah, I'm gonna go play golf today. Again, like every week, I'll get on these calls, message me. I sent the text messages out yesterday or the other day. But the goal is to get you guys on, um, in the group with Adam and Brennan as a partner. But I understand that there's a lot of steps that have to take place before that, right? And so that's what the purpose of all these courses are for, all these calls are for. I'll send out my emails, anything that I do, and I keep coming up with stuff, I'll put it in the community, stuff like that. So But I hope it's helpful.
Yeah. So one last question. This popped up for 10 o'clock, and you said you didn't change time, right? So is it going to be 10 instead of 11 Eastern?
No, it's going to be Eastern. Last night at 12 o'clock at midnight, they changed the clocks back. So
Yeah.
it'll be 11 o'clock Eastern every time. It's
Well,
just, I
it
think
came up
that
at-
I sent out the text message. I don't think the time zone in my Go High Level account changed.
It didn't.
Yeah,
Because
so
at 10 at 9:45, I think it said see you in 15 minutes. That's why I
yeah,
hopped on at 10.
I'm gonna change that. So it'll be at 11 o'clock because that's why like Scott jumped in here and I think John jumped in here an hour late,
Right.
but it really wasn't an hour late because it was still 11 o'clock Eastern time. It's just the things changed.
I was an hour late too. Don't forget about me.
Yeah, you jumped in late too. Yeah. Well, you didn't jump in late. You actually jumped in the right time, but I started the Zoom meeting thinking like, oh man, I didn't know. I forgot that they changed the clocks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. I will talk to you guys soon.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.